Bill for More podcast, Denny Thompson, Pastor Joby Martin, Dr. Meadows of the Savannah Bananas.
Let's go,
up, man. I'm excited about this, bro.
I'm so pumped.
I know. It's not just a normal football player. Now we can get into some stuff here, man. I got so many questions for you about what you do for a living, but thank you for coming down.
Thanks for having me. I'm just excited as y'all are. Probably a little bit more, honestly.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You brought Joby a gift. Now he's all excited.
I know. I got a Savannah Bananas baseball bat.
Take some batting practice
I
later?
might preach with it. I don't got to figure out how to work it in.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. By the way, this past week, excellent.
Oh, you're very kind.
Anybody who's listening, if you haven't heard the sermon from this week, go to COE22 and listen to that. Yeah, man. Fantastic, man. Thanks, fantastic. Yeah, I don't even know where to start, man. Savannah Bananas. I guess that's the best place to start if they're not one of the listeners, not one of the 10 million people that follow you guys on TikTok. What are the Savannah Bananas?
The easiest way to put it is, the 10th man of the team. The Savannah Bananas are an entertainment baseball team who get the fans involved in the game. Owned by Fans First Entertainment. Everything we do is for the fans. So whether it's catch a foul ball for an out or, not to get people bored, 2-hour time limit, we're out of there. Like, that's how long the games are. And something's always happening during the game. So
when you say catch a foul ball for an out, this is interesting. So you hit a foul ball into the stands, and a fan catches it, and you're out.
Out. I let off the game the other day. Guy had a baby in one arm, caught my ball barehanded in the other, right behind the dugout. Like,
where was that?
I can't remember where it was.
I would guess Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Something like that. It sounds like a South Carolina move.
They're playing in big stadiums now.
It's huge, man.
Happens all the time, man.
So wait, if you're at home, do they still catch it?
Our stadium's a little bit smaller than the bigger ones, so it's less likely. But
it seems like if I'm pulling for you guys, I'm like not catching it on purpose.
Grown men bringing their families to the game do not care.
Yeah,
they do not care.
Guys walking in with gloves.
Oh yeah, they're suited up and ready to roll.
That's fantastic. I've always thought about that though, like home run derby. You go to these home run derbies, and the people sit in the left field, and these guys are, the miles per hour off the bat is astronomical. I am not reaching my bare hand up.
I'll be in the outfield, and you'll just see some guy just jump from one seat and land on another row of fans. It's like, they all right up there? trying to get somebody out. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So Dr. Meadows, the backflipping center fielder.
Tell that story.
Yeah.
Tell how the backflip came about.
So 2022 is when we were about to start like Banana Ball tours, or they had one earlier that year. It's called the One City World Tour, and it's called the Summer Series. It was the final season of the Collegiate League, which I played for, so I rolled into it, the Summer Series with them, and infield was taken up for the Bananas, and our coach is like, "Hey, can you play outfield?" And I was like, "Absolutely!" Like, there's nothing easier than just running and catching a ball out there, and it was like a spring training type deal, and I was mic'd up, and I was like, I wonder if I could do a backflip on the ground. I've always done crazy stuff on trampolines. Did gymnastics when I was 4. Don't really know if that counts or not, but I built a little confidence, nailed a backflip on the ground. I was like, oh, I can do this. And that night I was like, I wonder if I could catch a ball while doing a backflip. And the next day, got my partner to throw me some up, Malachi, and we nailed it. And a few games later, got the opportunity to try it and did it.
Okay, rewind for a second. So you're saying that up until that point, you had not even done a backflip on the ground.
Yes,
this was
correct.
And in your head, you were like, I wonder if I can do a backflip and catch a ball.
How old are you?
I was 20. I'm 26 right now, so I was probably 20, 23 at that time.
Because I'm going to tell you, when I saw his Instagram, I just assumed he had been flipping his whole life.
Right.
Like this was something that you did in the backyard or something. So at 24 years old, you're just like, I think in a professional environment, I'm going to backflip and catch the ball in the air.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So your background obviously is baseball, right?
Yeah.
High school, college. Good. I looked at your college stats, like 327 career hitter.
Pretty good.
Something like that.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy, but consistent.
Y'all went pretty deep. Playoffs, Division II playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
Both 2 years, we were one game short of going to the World Series, and the teams that beat us won the World Series.
Columbus State.
Yeah, let's go.
Columbus State. Yep. And then you go from there. like, that couldn't have been your goal, right? Like when you started playing baseball, your goal wasn't to do backflips
No.
and catch the ball.
Just
right?
like every kid's dream, you want to play in the MLB. You grow up watching your heroes play out there. Mine was Chipper Jones.
Let's go. Local guy.
Yeah. And
That's right. Yeah.
everybody want to play for the Braves. And, sometimes the plan doesn't always, come out to what you want it to be. And I didn't, have the stature or the body type to do it. And I was okay with it.
So take us there. So you finish your 3 years in college. What was the plan? Like, you're going into year 3, year 2, whatever it is. In your mind, what was did you realize at that point that baseball in the traditional sense may be coming to an end?
To be honest with you, after my second year at Columbus State, I almost hung the cleats up then. It was a year after COVID, and we were playing double headers and, 5-6 games a week, and it was hot, and it was just wearing and tearing. I was like, am I getting burned out right now? And one night, one of my best friends now, he leads our Bible study in Savannah. He prayed over me. I was talking to him about it, and I was just sitting there bawling, crying. And the answer was come back, play another year. And I'm glad I did, too. I wouldn't be playing baseball to today.
Wow.
So that was a big part of my testimony right there. And, yeah, after my senior season at Columbus, my sister lives in North Georgia. So I was like, all right, I'm going to send a resume to her husband's company and go work in sales or something up there. And got my resume ready, sent it to him. The next day, I get a call. It's like, hey, you're still eligible to come play for our CPL team. Would you want to do it? I was like, absolutely. And called my brother-in-law. I was like, forget about that resume. I'm going to play baseball a little bit longer, but keep it just in case. And in 2 days, I packed up my apartment in Columbus, dropped it off in Vidalia. I was in Savannah like 2 days later, ready to roll.
What's the sorry to jump in, Joby. I'm jumping into this because I got so many questions.
Me too.
What's the process, though, of being on the Savannah Bananas, though? Because it's, obviously not just baseball.
Like, have you always been a dancer?
No.
That's a great question.
Listen, I used to make fun of dancers. We had a guy on our college team. He was on TikTok, and we just picked on him all the time. And I heard that quickly after playing for the Bananas. But my first day there, man, the owner, you have like an orientation with him. It's like you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to try some new things, and you'll realize like when you're not afraid to be yourself, then you'll be a lot happier. And my first day there, they're like, we want you to watch a couple games, kind of get, filled in with everything that's going on and all that stuff and get comfortable being here. And it's like unbelievable, night and day. I started dancing a little bit, still a little uncomfortable. My boys back home make fun of me a little bit. And I was like, you know what?
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, then going on social media was the biggest turnover on that. They really want you to build a social media to connect with fans and all that stuff. And that was probably the biggest, hardest part about doing it was posting consistently. Because if you ask me, I could throw my phone away and go rot in the woods somewhere in a cabin.
So do you do your own social media?
Yep. Yes, sir.
I remember seeing, during COVID, seeing the Savannah Bananas. And it's just, you see this on social media back then. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then do a little research into, the background of Savannah Bananas. And it's like, oh, this may catch on. And then you fast forward what seems like only 6 months, but it's been a couple of years. And now you guys are not just playing in Savannah. I think y'all were in Washington this week, right?
Yeah.
National Stadium.
DC.
Yeah. And then y'all played in Tampa a couple weeks ago in the football stadium. Just how quickly it has taken off and the way the fans are identifying, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Do y'all feel that energy? Is that something that is it in y'all's head? Can it continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger?
Absolutely. I think it starts with the culture that Jesse and Emily, his wife, have built in as Fans First Entertainment. And our whole goal is to break down that barrier between players and fans. Like when you went to a game as a little kid, you want to talk to the best player. You want to talk to Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. And a lot of guys just blow you off when you go to these major league games.
Sure.
And, we do things different. We entertain the whole game. We're talking to fans the whole game.
So talk to me about this barehanded backflip catch.
Yeah, so
You seen that one?
I did.
Throws the glove away.
yeah, it's been 3 years now of the backflip catch, and we have about seven or 8 guys doing it now. I actually did it for the first time last year. I was like, if everybody's doing the same thing, I got to have a little,
Up the ante a little bit.
job security here. And I failed at it. Probably I was successful 1 out of 20 times in practice. And the first time I ever tried it in a game, I nailed it. And I was just as shocked as everybody there was.
That's the thing when you watch this, though. These guys are doing all this in the flow of a baseball game.
Yeah, it's a real baseball game.
Yeah, it's like they're not. Nobody can set you up for that.
No.
Like you have to make that decision while a ball is coming at you in the air and then commit to it and do it.
Yeah.
Or the infielders that are grounding, they're taking a ground ball and with their glove hand bouncing it between their legs.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, it's cool, man.
What is practice like? Is that where everything is, practiced obviously, but do you see a lot of people trying new things, or is this like, how does that come about? Does somebody walk up to you and go, hey, I got this idea, man. Like, I'm going to try this.
Yeah,
Yeah?
So practice is a regular baseball practice. Like,
Okay.
we hit BP, and the only thing different is we tried trick plays instead of regular stuff. We're definitely not afraid to fail, because if you're afraid to fail, it's not going to work. And
That'll preach.
I am so glad I'm not in the infield anymore, because those guys can do incredible things. Ryan Cox, our shortstop, is just a magician with the ball, and he really combines like basketball and baseball in one, and it's so impressive. But yeah, we're competitive even during practice. We'll practice with the teams we play against, and you kind of want to one up your buddy on the other team, so it's kind of like a motivation, and just not being scared to fail.
And you're also very out there with your faith, especially like your Instagram channel and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, we have a team Bible study that is really just grown into something amazing. We have a good core group of guys who I not only call friends, but I look up to those guys spiritually, faithfully, and just trying to learn more about Jesus and their knowledge. And we've met every week this year. That's something we wanted to do. Just have that accountability to meet each week, even when we're on the road.
How many believers are on the team?
So earlier this year, we wanted to fill up a room and not have enough space. And we started out probably like 8 or 10 guys at the beginning of the year. And one day we had about 40 in a place, and we moved it to the field. And now we're talking about not only just a team Bible study, but having something public for, people around Savannah to come, like a worship night. And we actually had one a couple weeks ago, and it turned out awesome. Just a few guys that led it was Rack and Andy Archer, Bill Roy, Noah Bridges. They are just guys I look up to. They're buddies, and it's cool to be able to hang out with them each day and not only play baseball, but, talk about Jesus.
I think 1122 and the Bananas ought to team up on something.
I'm down for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Danny, this is a perfect example of what the second episode we had with Brock, and early in Brock's career, he's asking me questions about Brock Purdy, about being as a believer and taking his team to the Super Bowl and how to navigate all that kind of stuff. And you remember, I told him, well, listen, man, first and foremost, you're a Jesus follower, but you don't get paid to be a Jesus follower. You get paid to win football games. Be the greatest quarterback you can be, and you'll have even more and more and more opportunity to share Christ. This is what's happening with the Savannah Bananas. They did not set out as a missions organization. They're just filled up with missionaries because of all of these believers in them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, football stadiums are showing up, and then I'm sure following every guy on Instagram. And then these guys are just naturally sharing who they are and sharing Christ. And you got one little segment. It's just, what did you learn in Bible study this week?
Yeah.
And it's like all these dudes,
Yeah, I saw that. And I also saw an interview. I don't remember when this was, but it was Jared Orton. Is that the
Yeah, that's our president.
president? He said it was on the 700 Club. He said, "We're in this thing to share the love of Jesus with people and to be a part of the Great Commission.
Let's go.
We love what we do. We love the people that we do it with, and we love the people that we serve, and the hundreds of thousands of people that are all the Bananas fans." And then his wife weighed in and said, "Although the team is not a Christian team, we can still bring that love of Christ to whomever we meet, whether it's the game day staff or whether it's full-time staff or whether it's just a fan." So organizationally, you guys are well, you got 10.4 million followers on TikTok, 3.5 million followers on IG. You're playing in front of 40 and 50,000 people, 2 or 3 times a week. And all of that, as the president says, of being in this thing to share the love of Jesus.
Yeah. I like to see it kind of like make a cool little thing, but the Bananas, like, fans first is about, bringing love to fans.
Yeah.
And Jesus is love.
Yeah.
And I see, like, the game's a little appetizer. When you get to have the conversation, you get a little entree about Jesus. And sometimes, we play to win, obviously. We play every day. It never gets old, but sometimes there's like, what's this for?
Uh-huh.
And you got to put into perspective, like, this is what this is for. Conversations, carrying ourselves to be a light for somebody to have a conversation. And I think it's really cool.
But even before you get to the explicit gospel sharing, that is very, very important. Implicitly, the message that people see, like if they're not a believer, honestly, almost everybody that goes to in the South thinks they are, but but they show up and immediately they begin to say, all right, so you can be a Christian and be athletic. Okay. Didn't know you could do that. And have fun and be about somebody that's not yourself. I mean, this is such in Matthew chapter 5 when Jesus after he does the Beatitudes and he's kicking off the Sermon on the Mount, his greatest sermon of all time, he starts it with being salt and light where you are. And like salt in the salt shaker ain't no good, man.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So if all the salt is just in the church, so what?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the salt of the earth. So why shouldn't baseball teams and football teams and basketball teams and offices have missionaries there just living out their life? And if you want people to hear your testimony and you're a sales rep, one of the things you should try to be is be the best sales rep you can be. And when people say why, then you got some credibility to stand on to share your faith with.
Yeah, I think about it when I was reading through this. I think about it like why we started this podcast, or one of the reasons was somebody's floating around. It's like, oh, I want to hear what, I don't know, Anthony Richardson has to say.
Yeah.
And the next thing they know, we're talking about Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing that to the 1,000th degree because there's little kids seeing you guys have the time of your lives out there, and they're going home and they're going to follow you on social media and they're going to see all this. That's so impactful. It's actually, I had no idea y'all had 10.5 million TikTok followers.
It's funny you bring the Matthew 5 up. That's something the Bananas do, or it's like something we like incorporated from Taylor Swift is bracelet trading. So before the season, I got like 1,000 bracelets made, and with Matthew 5:16 on
Wow.
trade bracelets with kids, and like, here you go.
That's kind of awesome.
Be a light.
Wait, so what do y'all do now?
A lot of people like bring bracelets and trade them with players.
It's like the Cooperstown pin swap.
Yeah. It's a lot like that. And I was like, a way I could, serve
This is fans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I could serve a little bit, make some bracelets, a little scripture on there, and pass them out.
Look at that. I didn't even look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So just finding little ways to continue to just, man, that's, because we've sat here and we've talked time and time and time again about what your identity is, right? And even the uncomfortable part, which he's talking about dancing. And if somebody would have told you, 5 or 6 years ago that God's plan for you is to be dancing and turning backflips on a baseball field for his glory, you'd have been like, wait, what? Right? But
absolutely.
here you are.
Yeah.
And just that willingness to go for the right reasons and understanding, like, man, this could build a platform. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And you mentioned being burnt out of baseball earlier. Is that a thing now? Or has that been completely...
Absolutely. We have the most fun we've ever had out there. There's no stress on us, no pressure. It's just It's like as a kid, you grew up playing wiffle ball in the backyard with your buddies. That's exactly what it is. Just competitive.
But you gotta be really good though.
Yes,
you guys are really good.
That's in the
ain't nobody calling me to come play. Well, I could like roll on the ground and catch a ball maybe.
There's not a single thing they do that I could qualify for.
Right.
Not the dancing, not the flipping, not the baseball part, none of it.
Not the hitting. Oh my God, hardest thing on the planet is to hit a major league ball.
100%.
Yes, that's a great is the dream for the majority of players there, because you guys have had guys that have left Savannah and gone to Major League Baseball, right?
Yeah, a lot of those
back
were
into
in the CPL, the Collegiate League.
Yep.
A bunch of guys drafted that came and played for us. And some are saying it correlates with the more fun you have and the less stress you have, the better you play.
Yeah.
And all that good
Do you feel that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Always been a firm.
So there's still dreams of Major League Baseball inside of that locker room in Savannah?
I don't know if anybody would ever give up what we get to do for
really
a chance to make it. You know, going through the minor leagues is so hard, and we have guys that on our team that have spent years and years in the minor leagues and never made it, and they wouldn't trade banana ball for anything.
So if you got a call right now saying from the St. Louis Cardinals saying, "Hey, we'd like to give you a try here,"
am I going straight up there?
Nah, you gotta go.
I don't think so.
Yeah, percentage, man. I mean, I don't know if these things are true. Somebody can look this up, but like the percentage to get out of 1A ball is I mean, like less than 25% of people make it out of there. You know, it's hard.
Yeah, that's that whole minor league baseball.
And if you want to be married and have a family, it's. I mean, you know, that is why you see so many international guys in the minor leagues, because dude, ride on a bus and promise of hot meals, right? And they've been shagging balls and wherever, their whole life. They're like, count me in, bro.
Yep.
Me and my wife are expecting.
Let's go. Your first one?
First one in November, and
let's go.
She's like, you better be here like for a whole week. And I was like, like major league guys only get like 3 days, 30 leave. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah. So I'll be here for a whole week. I was like,
little girl, right?
Well, yeah, little girl.
Oh, that's awesome.
So do church planners. They get about a week.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days. It just depends. It better not be a Sunday.
We have baseball in our facility, a lot of baseball in our facility. We're rotational mechanics, a lot of like major league, minor league players. And it's funny because the last couple of years, they're in the off season and Savannah Bananas will come up quite a bit. Do you guys hear that a lot from big league players of like, hey, we're watching what you guys are doing, things like that?
I know we have a bunch of like ex big leaguers come and like play for us in like different cities, kind of get like their final like
That's
roll
cool.
call, and they absolutely love it. Like when you experience what we do, you get a whole new perspective on what the product is. Like we'll get criticized on social media of like, this isn't real baseball, this isn't so and so and all that stuff. But when you get to be a part of it and see like the impact we get to make on people's lives, like that's what it's all about.
We're in a series right now at 1122 called In the Arena. It's about fights in the Bible. And I don't know how much you keep up, but it's based on that Teddy Roosevelt quote. It is not the critic that counts.
Mm-hmm.
It is the man in the arena. Even if he gets it wrong, at least he's the one that gets in the arena. So as somebody that gets plenty of criticism, because I teach this book sitting right here in front of me, I wouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to the critics.
No, I don't.
Unless they can do a barehanded backflip.
I think the whole story of the Savannah Bananas is fascinating.
Me too.
Because it's I've read the story about the owner, how he had to take out a mortgage on his house to keep the team. And it's just, I don't know. If you're a believer, I feel like you can just see God working in this of what a crazy idea. An insane idea really for this guy to think, oh, you know what? I'm going to take out a mortgage on my house for this small team in Savannah that's running a debt, and we're going to dance and we're going to do crazy stuff, and it's going to fill stadiums and arenas. That is nothing except for a calling from God.
And I give him so much credit. He lives by it too.
Really?
Like, to go along with it, we have Bananas Foster, and that's kind of ran by like his wife, and they have 2 foster kids and another kid. And when I tell you that man cares about each and every person in that ballpark, he cares about them. So we do post-game signing in smaller parks. But when it gets to bigger parks, there's kind of a lot of logistics don't make sense when it comes to 40,000 people signing after a game. But he'll go out there and sign. And I don't know if you saw the video, but there's just a big crowd around him, and he's just signing away. And the security's like, we got to get all these people out of here. He's like, no, I'm signing until every person has been signed, and I'll veto that. Like, he's like, I'm staying until every person takes a picture, has been signed. Like, and that's where it starts. And as long as you keep that culture, I don't see it going anywhere.
When did the stadium stuff start? When did y'all start doing the big football stadiums, baseball stadiums?
So our first MLB stadium was last year. We did 6, and football stadiums were this year. And I think we did 4 of those.
They sell out.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Football stadium.
I saw the one in Tampa. What other football stadiums have you guys done?
Tampa. We did Charlotte, Tennessee, and my favorite, Clemson. Clemson had that college football like atmosphere. There were people tailgating at 7 a.m.
Well, it's also Clemson, South Carolina. Ain't a lot to do.
Yeah. And
you got to take the shots, man.
Dabo is not such a bad guy, you know.
That was awesome.
As a Georgia fan, I was like, hey man,
go Dogs! But everybody loves Dabo.
I'm sitting here with 2 Georgia fans right now.
Yeah, I was like,
well, we also, they're a good game to warm up on every year too. So,
oh wow,
he gave our whole like organization a speech, man. And
he's awesome, man. He loves the Lord.
Put a little Jesus in there, and I went up and talked to him. I was like, I love Georgia, man, but I'd play for you in a heartbeat.
No doubt, no doubt.
When you first got there, I mean. Well, no, let me ask this a different way. When y'all first heard that, all right, we're going to go out of this and we're going to go start playing Major League Baseball stadiums, what was the reaction to that?
For us as
for you guys.
For us as players, like, what? It's like, it's our dream.
Yeah.
That's every kid's dream is to play not only in a MLB stadium, but a sold-out MLB stadium.
Right. Which very few are in the MLB.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably watch 75 Braves games a year or something. I mean, every time I can.
Yeah, unless you play for the Yankees or the Dodgers, you don't see a sold-out stadium until playoffs.
Right. There's maybe half a dozen. It's norm to be packed. The Braves on the weekends are going to be packed, and when they're winning, there's going to be packed, and then,
Yeah.
But a Bananas game, you can't get a ticket.
No, what's the waiting list?
It's like 3.5 mil or something like that. It's ridiculous.
3.5 million people on a waiting list.
Y'all gonna have to play at the Daytona Speedway or something.
Oh, that would. I mean, that's got to be next. That's where I was going. Like,
right,
I mean,
you could straight do 100,000 people.
And with this owner's vision, the way he is, because he goes from baseball stadiums, which I think a lot of people would have been just like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
right. We're gonna stop here. Say, no, we can make a football stadium work. Like, that was my question. Like, any idea what's next? That you can disclose?
If whatever he says will probably come true. And that sense right there.
Yeah.
Whether it be like NASCAR stadiums. I know are the Braves and the Reds playing at Bristol or something like that
I think that's
this year.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that happening in the future. I don't know.
Bro, that's going to be exciting for you.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That's going to be really exciting. What's the wait list for people trying to try out for this team at this point? It's got to be a hot ticket.
So our tryouts, the way they work is like you send like an application online, like your background, and our coaches, they'll do research on if they know coaches, they'll call around, and like it's kind of like a invited tryout, or it might not be anymore, but we'll have like 5 or 6 tryouts throughout the year in different cities, and put some teams together from those guys and see what they have. So we have a team called the Visitors. It's their like our developmental team, and when they come in here, their motto is like, we're not here for a long time, we're only here for a good time. They play 6 games in the years, and playing against them is the most fun like we've had. Like their energy is like that new player energy, grateful to be here energy. It's just out the roof.
I want to see like an American Idol type tryout, man. Like bring the dude in, let me see your trick on national TV in front of everybody, and then we'll tell you if you make it to the next stage. Like, because the ideas that you guys have to have, I mean, the creativity.
Yeah, a lot of the tryouts, guys will just dress up and like show what they have to bring. Like we got this guy on the Visitors, he showed up like a time traveler from 1950s, and he still talks in character. Like, it's like, what up, old sport? And he's got his old mitt and old cleats and old glove. And
really? And he plays with it?
He's like, yeah, he plays with it, and he's like imitating Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth. It's hysterical.
That's amazing.
It's so talented. And he'll go to like nursing homes and like sing oldies music to them. He's hilarious.
Because you mentioned earlier, it's like you're playing in an atmosphere, an environment with no stress, no worries. Bro, you tell me that I got to go dance.
Yeah.
There's nothing that would stress me out more. Like nothing. So talk about just that. You said you didn't grow up dancing. You didn't grow up all that kind of stuff. Did it just kind of, once you let go and had fun, is that what, I mean, how did that go?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard the like the quote of like, never get comfortable being comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like you always want to be uncomfortable where either you're growing each day or, growing as a player or, once you get comfortable, you just kind of just rot. You don't take the next step up to growing. And when you can step out of that comfort level and really get to, learn something new, we're not the best dancers. We try our best, though.
It's entertaining.
And it's entertaining to see some funny criticism on some videos of you trying to dance. But we have a couple dancers that are just unbelievable. Like our dancing first base coach, Maceo, I don't think he has a bone in his body. He's just made of ligaments. But he is unbelievable.
Yeah, but they'll like dance before the pitch, man. I mean, like,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And then somebody hits it. That would be crazy.
You know what? If we were going to go rename the podcast at this point, 15 episodes in, whatever, the name would be Uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most common theme to every single professional athlete that we have spoken to is just that getting uncomfortable thing.
Yeah.
And you don't think about that when it comes to like dancing.
Right.
But if that's the thing that allows you to go and build a platform the way you have built a platform to glorify God, like good on you. Because I'm not sure, man. Like you get me dancing or tell me I got to sing. I don't think God has this for me. Is what my thought would be.
Yeah, that's for sure.
God didn't make me a dancer. What are you talking about?
That's for sure.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Now, is there any part of you or any part of you guys that all of this entertainment gets in the way of baseball? Are you still like a baseball player at your core, and you're like, man, I just want to play a regular baseball game?
I wouldn't say so. Like our entertainment's like very small part of what goes on during the game. We have rehearsals, so we kind of know like rehearsals, like everybody thinks it's scripted, but rehearsals are for if we score a run, we're going to do this dance. If we score a run,
right.
But we do have what's called a 3-2-2s where we dance and then we pitch. There's like 2 or 3 things that we actually rehearse throughout the game. So it's like, we're here to play ball.
So
because the ball's got to be pretty perfect to turn a backflip to catch it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be just a can of corn right at you, right?
Yeah.
Or way up there to get under.
Yeah. It's like muscle memory. In the outfield, I'll have a trick play for whichever way the ball takes me.
Okay.
So if it takes me to the right, I'll do a little side flip. If it's right at me or takes me a little backflip. Takes me that way, I'll do like some Saquon Barkley or behind the back catch, something like that. So I think it's a lot of, when you're at practice, you give it 150%, being uncomfortable for when it's showtime. It comes easy to you.
And you'll play how many games?
This year we have 73, and then the playoffs at the end.
And that is that a normal, y'all baseball season schedule? Is that like a March, April to?
Yeah, it's like February to October.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it's fun.
Yeah, that's a long season.
Have you caught any grief from like little league coaches because all of their shortstops are trying to catch it behind the back? I remember my dad coached me, and I was playing shortstop. This was an all-star game. I was probably 11 or 10, or I don't know, whatever. There was a pop fly. We were up by 1 million, and I caught it behind my back and watched the rest of the game next to him.
I had that question written down. I thought about that same thing. I mean? Yeah, I'm thinking of every coach I ever had growing up. If they saw that on TV, they would lose their mind.
Yeah.
Lose their mind.
There's some coaches out there that will be like, son, you ain't watching this. You ain't playing this. My sister, though, that's who I've heard from, because my nephew is now just getting in the T-ball, and he thinks it's banana ball. I'm like, get him away from the TV. Like, he's playing T-ball first.
He's playing
baseball.
You got to be a really good ball player to earn the right to dribble it behind you before you throw it to first.
Yeah, I mean, the skill set is is unique and special.
But we have banana ball camps, and we have a banana ball youth tournament where kids can sign up and come. They'll put them on different teams. Like, so if you're with your travel team, you'll get split up, and get to play with new people, and we encourage the goofiness and all the antics. And
I imagine a lot more interest in baseball has increased because of you guys.
Yeah,
because it looks. I mean, honestly, my kid JP played. He started when 5 or whatever, and all the way through middle school, and then football took over. But he did the travel ball thing, and it's a grind, dude, for a 10-year-old, especially when they're little. When you eventually kind of about 12 and you're actually playing baseball and leading off and stealing bases, and people can you don't see 2 strikes in 8 games. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then it's kind of engaging, but for little guys, it can be hard, man. Just stand out there in left field and pick daisies.
And expensive.
Yeah. Shout out to parents for travel ball.
Yeah, that's what
expensive. Yeah, it was the amount that parents would spend on bats. I was like, oh, neat. You got Timmy $1,000 bat. He's seen 4 strikes in the last month. So you know what I mean? I don't think it's the bat.
And they're traveling every weekend,
bro.
Like, we got friends that are. Neither one of my kids played. Baseball is my favorite sport. Growing up, neither one of my kids played. And I'm so thankful for that. Just for my wallet's thankful for that. You know what I mean?
Those long summers, man.
So y'all do have like a youth initiative, a youth camp type of thing.
Yeah. The best stories, man, are when kids come to our games and they were like, I quit baseball a few years ago, but I'm getting back into it because of how much fun y'all get to have out here and how much fun I can have on the diamond. And just being able to let kids be themselves on the field without their parents, expecting perfection out of them and what they do.
Yeah, so there's some little league coaches out there. I hope you hear that, man. Have fun, dude. I just, JP played, you know how it goes. If you're pretty good when you're little, you got to play year-round. You just do, and that's what he did. And in the rec ball seasons, because you got to play rec ball in order to be on the all-star team or whatever. So basically all the rec teams just have 3 of our all-star players and then everybody else, right? And it kind of didn't matter. I mean, we played hard, but half the kids didn't know which end of the bat to hold. It was but our boys had probably way more fun in rec ball because they just played. Like, it wasn't, there wasn't a trophy on the line. It wasn't a tournament on the line. It was just boys out there just playing. Had a lot of fun.
Man, double down on that, Joe, because you mentioned it earlier. You talk about baseball players having fun. Man, Christians having fun. Like you said earlier. I mean, it's you're going out there and you're seeing a bunch of people having a blast, playing free, and they have a heart for the Lord.
Yeah, we as believers, we ought to be the freest, funnest, happiest, most joy-filled people on the planet. And too many church people look like they were weaned on a pickle, man. They just look like the moment the follower of Jesus lead foot is criticism about everybody else, then they live like a miserable human being. When their lead foot is, I have the approval of God because of the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, I am free to be who God's called me to be, then those are people that live, they are living that abundant life that Jesus talked about in John 10:10. And don't ever let the world or some hyper-religious person try to strip you of that.
I don't think the messaging would go, well, I don't think it would be as much fun for you guys if there wasn't that Christian component. Right? Listen, like, I mean, the joy of just
being free.
Being free, and also, like you said earlier, like, why you're there. Ultimately, your identity is not in the backflip catch that if you don't make, like, your whole day's ruined, right? Yeah. Like, it's just the fact that you guys have that group walking with Christ through this probably allows you guys to have the amount of fun you're having.
Yeah, and we're all humans and we want success, and success comes with ego and pride. And when you learn to play the game for Jesus and not yourself, and don't care what kind of outcome you have, but at the end of the day, you're resting in Him, that's what makes it fun, man.
So talk about that more. How do you personally, not you in general, but you sitting right here, DR, how do you handle the fame, the notoriety, the lines of people waiting to have your name on their baseball or whatever? How do you personally handle all that?
To be honest with you, 3 years ago, I struggled with it, man. I was lost. And luckily, I found back Christ and resurrendered my life for Him. And my life changed after that, and I got a whole new perspective and gratitude for daily life. And to now go from finding my identity in, base hits or whatever, like success. I can find my identity in serving for him and having conversations with kids and kids coming up to me and saying, "Hey, I like your walk-up song." I was like, it used to be thinking I'm a country boy. Now it's Praised by Brandon Lake.
Oh, let's go.
To have that, to know that there's a love for Jesus around here and I can be a helper to furthering his kingdom is the most fulfilling thing I can find out there on the baseball field.
Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah.
Like humility is a posture. We all have different personality types, and some people may come across either more or less confident or more or less humble. But I think Tim Keller was the first person to say it, that humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's just thinking about yourself less. And when the clearer picture you have of who the Lord is and whose you are, you almost feel like you can't take credit for anything, right?
That's right.
Like when everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're amazing." You begin to think, well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, it's better than the opposite.
Yeah.
I appreciate you telling me I'm not terrible. But you just don't, I don't know. There's like not a category to take credit for something that the Lord's doing it. And you're more excited about what you're a part of than the part that you get to play,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
this is a good table right here to actually, this is three people that I think can talk about that really, really at length, because we talked about it with Brock Purdy. I don't have a conventional job. I didn't play in the NFL. I didn't play college football. Yet I'm training these amazing quarterbacks, right? Like, I didn't do that, and it feels like stolen valor if I say that I did.
Yeah.
And so I now it's seen as a responsibility that I have in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Right? This is his success. This is his doing. And now I approach it with that. Whereas instead of me going, "Oh, I got to do this and I got to do this," I don't have to do anything but just obey and just keep walking, right? And keep trying to improve my skill set that he has given me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we all three have a job like that. Right. Like you've talked about it all the time about you and Gretchen with starting this church. And now you look at it. And then, of course, there's no way you saw this coming. And now in hindsight, like it has to be hard to go, I did this or I did that or I did this. I mean, God literally moved the world in your direction for you to be able to do something that how many people get to do?
About 100.
Right. Like, that's crazy. You're from a little town in Georgia, right? And this is a Savannah-based team, and they've become one of the most popular baseball organizations of the last couple of years in the world.
Correct.
Insane. If you took credit for that, like I almost think, well, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work at all.
It wouldn't work. Have you seen that? Have you seen some guys come in and maybe they get a little bit too boastful and forget?
Yeah. It's just, sometimes fame and traveling kind of will get to you, and it took me pruning my vines. They had to be pruned at really early to realize that and just put back into perspective what it's all about, what this life is all about. And if you keep that perspective each morning and, ask the Holy Spirit to fill you before you even wake up, I think have a much better day. That's for sure.
So you said 3 years ago you were lost and kind of lost in it, and then
Yeah.
something happened and you recommitted your life to Christ. Tell me about that. What happened? What's going on?
So I was first tour I'd been on. I'm a young kid right out of college, looking for love in all the wrong places. Not just love, but fulfillment, I would say. And, starting to wear and tear on my body. And I was like, if I can't come out here and be the best product I could be on the field if I am not taking care of my body. Because we're all a body of Christ, right?
Sure.
And I want to be the best. If I'm the pointer finger of Christ, I want to be the best pointer finger I can be, Yep. And, I quit looking and I started praying. And my wife showed up in my life about 3 weeks after that. So it's like, thank you, Lord, for sending me her because she has taught me a lot of things.
How'd y'all meet?
Social media. It's kind of a long story.
She a baseball fan?
She like that dancing? Is that what it was?
Well, she's a little bit better dancer than me. And she always tells me, she's like, I can't believe I married a baseball player. I told myself I'd never do that. But I saw just her love for Jesus shine through her. And she actually was at 1122 when we first started dating.
Very cool.
And I just saw how grace works. And I saw some more vines of mine being pruned. And just walls being broken down. And I was like, I thank you for that. She's like, no, don't thank me. Like, that's the Holy Spirit working through you. And I started feeling a lot of conviction. And it's just, conviction is so powerful. And in our Bible study, I'm like, fellas, pray for conviction each day. Because I think you're talking about going up the ladder and things be thrown at you, all that stuff. I kind of try to explain that to him. And I was like, if you're not feeling conviction, you ain't growing. And I like pray for conviction and, just build my relationship. And I look up to my wife and that, like, I'm becoming more of a leader in my faith. But a lot of that has to do with a lot of her grace and his grace. And it's just awesome.
That's awesome. How long have you been married?
We got married in last December. So I got baptized the day before right before our wedding. And wake up every day and just love Jesus, man.
Good for you, man.
Love Jesus.
You said something, Joby, this past weekend about, and I'm going to butcher it, so you're going to have to clean it up. But something about you're always weary of people who say they walk with Jesus, but they don't have a limp. Yeah.
So Jacob wrestles God in Genesis 32, and the Bible says that God allows him to wrestle all night and then touches his hip's out of socket. Changes his name from Jacob, that means deceitful one, or heel grabber, to Israel, which means one who wrestles with God. And the whole thing is, you don't win until you lose. You're not first until you're last. That the counterintuitive part of the gospel is, if you want to find your life, you lose it. And then the Bible says, there's one little verse at the end of 32. It says, and from that day, Jacob walked with a limp. And that's the whole Run Over by the Grace Train book. Like, if you get hit by the grace of God, it changes things. You wrestle with God and surrender, He changes you. And so I'd be very, very careful around somebody that claims to know God, but they don't have a limp.
That's so good.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those that I put in my phone right after you said that yesterday, because I think everybody can identify with that. And especially, I can identify it, and because I've been married so long, and my wife will say things like, I don't like this about myself or them. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, I've known you forever. Like, I love that about you, right? Like, there's just the scars and the limps and the things like that. That's what makes all this beautiful, right? And so to hear you say, hey, man, 3 years ago, like, I wasn't probably ready for this opportunity.
Yeah.
But God was preparing you for something that you had no idea, both through meeting your wife and through this. Like, man, what a story.
Yeah. Funny story about my testimony is, we came here and you were giving like the PG-13 speech about, if you sin, throw the first stone.
Oh.
And dude, I've never bawled my eyes out at church before, as when I went to the altar, got on my hands and knees and prayed. Because I was a victim of feeling shame and guilt and all that stuff. And you surrender that to Him. It's just so freeing. It's like weight off the shoulders, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a major difference between conviction and condemnation.
Yeah.
Condemnation is the primary language of the enemy, and it's a building term. It means you're done, man. You're like, in building, if your building gets condemned, that means it's unfit for use. And that's what the enemy tries to tell you. Because of what you've done, you're unfit for use. Conviction is, no. There's more grace in Jesus than sin in you. Run to the Father and not from Him. Conviction is a warm invitation that God wants to do something different and better in your life than what you have been doing, so you can leave all that shame behind. Because He knew what He was getting when He paid for you at the cross. He knew what He was getting when He called your name and saved you. So you can run to Him. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to run from Him. He already knows.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about, I tell Joby this all the time. There's something about this church, man, makes grown men cry.
It makes grown men cry.
It's like I walk into church every Sunday. I'm like, I'm not crying. I'm just not going to. And I've yet to make it in the last 2 years without it. But that's, we've talked about it. Like, what is that? Is that is that what conviction is? Is that what, it's like I hear something in church and it's not that it's the grace that just gets me every time. It's the fact that I am sitting here praising Jesus after everything that I've done and everything that I've been through, and I shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I feel like it's your father saying, "Come here, give me a hug," and just bawling with him, like a good like.
Well, there's definitely been churches and some kind of shiesty leaders that try to emotionally manipulate people, and for sure. That is not what we're doing. That's why we teach sound doctrine. The reason that I'm not afraid of emotion in church is because we're teaching sound doctrine. That's like the guardrails to keep us from going crazy. But we are supposed to love the Lord our God with all of our heart. I mean, that's emotional. And our mind, and our soul, and our bodies. Like you were talking about being part of the body of Christ. But emotion is a part of it, man. That you love God. And love is not completely encapsulated by emotions, but it is not emotionless either. I mean, can you imagine if you never got tender with your wife, if you never, like, you know what I mean?
She'd kill me.
She'd be like, do you love me? You'd be like, yeah, I love you. I'll do the weed eating and pay the bills. She'd be like, what? That's part of it too.
Yeah.
But in the same way, if you love God, man, then you ought to, there should be some emotive response to what he has done for you or what he's doing in your life or, there are times I just get overwhelmed with gratitude. Same thing, man, and I just can't hold it back.
Yeah, I think that's a large part for me too, is the gratitude part. And then there's just also the part of like, man, am I faking this? You know what I mean? Like, am I really living this out? And that's the part that if I let it will get to me a little bit at times.
Well, that's why moments matter. That's why I would highly encourage you when you have those moments in church. And you're like, I know that I encountered the living God today. Then you should do something. You should record a voice memo. You should write it down in a journal. You should do something. In the Old Testament, what they would do is when God would move in a miraculous way, God would tell them, build an altar right here. And they would usually stack up 12 stones and pour oil on it. And the reason is so that when later generations came and they would see an altar, they'd be like, hey, Dad, what happened here? And then the dad would retell about God's faithfulness to Israel in the past. He'd be like, oh, this is where our people used to be slaves in Egypt, and they passed through dry ground right here. That's what that altar's for. Or Jacob met with God in this very place, and his name was changed to Israel, and that's why we're a part of that. So personally, that's why things like baptisms matter. It's why we do things like saturated. It's so that you can kind of hang your hat on some of those moments so that you know. So when the enemy starts whispering doubt, you're like, you can shut up because I know that I know him.
I think the way we do it here is we just all get tattoos,
yes.
right?
That's not a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea at all. We've been talking a lot, Joby and I have, about it seems like people sharing their faith in sports has grown 100-fold in the last, 2 years, 3 years? You guys are taking that to even another level because y'all are doing it somewhat organizationally and together. And then it's not just a show. You guys, you mentioned the Bible study that you guys do. Can you take us into just the day-to-day culture of the way you guys are helping each other beyond that?
Yeah, so we have a good core group of about 4 or not 5 or I would probably say 10 guys that out of love, we hold each other accountable each and every week. And props to Andy Archer. I've held him accountable each week. He has his journal, Jesus journal. I was like, you better hold on to that each week. But he's really like made set in stone that we are meeting every week. We don't care where we are. We're going to go through the Bible. We're going to talk about the truth, and we're going to be on the same page about the truth. Mm-hmm. And not only from that, but he has also challenged other guys to lead the Bible study and what chapters we go over that week. And that's a cool thing that I got to do for the first time this year. And, I felt so nervous about it because, in Hebrews it talks about spiritual immaturity.
Yeah.
And the way I see like Hebrews 5, it talks about the milk and you build up to solid food. I was like, man, I want milk every day. Baby needs milk to grow.
Sure.
So when I make it, I'm gonna have a ribeye with Jesus. But that's just the way I see that verse. And one of the guys said it best: that God doesn't calls the qualified, he qualifies the called, and that really set up a new perspective. And the way we get to challenge each other and just have conversations on the field when we're just shagging BP about what our struggles are, and we can be vulnerable with each other because we're all going through a lot of the same stuff. And if we can hold each other accountable and grow together as a community, it's a lot easier than just, bearing it by ourselves. And just to watch guys just catch a fire for Jesus, man. I just want everybody to experience what I get to experience with him, and just to see, guys' eyes light up each and every week with questions, and just their love for Jesus growing is unbelievable.
Yeah, and the key there is when you find those kind of guys in your life, you got to deputize them. You can't just assume it. You got to tell them. I mean, around here we call them mat carriers because Mark II, the 4 guys that carry the paralyzed guy to Jesus, and you got to tell them, be like, hey, listen, we're going to be on the road together. If you see me out of line, I'm asking you to let me know. And then the worst thing, this happens all the time. Dudes will do that. Around here, dudes will join a disciple group, and they're like, hey, I want you guys in my life. And then the first time, the guy's like, hey, man, I heard the way you were talking to your wife, and you need to watch it. You stiff-arm that thing, it's over, bro. Because that guy's like, I didn't volunteer for this, man. You asked me to be this kind of person in your life. So you better welcome the helpful criticism in your life, Or if not, then nobody's going to do it.
I think about the people listening that would say, well, I'm in a job that I don't really get to openly share my faith, or I'm in a job that's not conducive to that. But this is baseball.
Right.
This is like a baseball team who, because when we said how many do you have, you were like, well, there's 4, no, there's 5, there's 10. So obviously it's growing. It's a growing number, right? But it started with an owner or a president or a mission statement and one, right? And so regardless of the job that you have, you don't have to go, if you're in retail, it's not like you have to talk to every customer. You can start in your workplace.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that, we've kind of tied it all together with the joy part and the happiness part and all that. Joby said a couple weeks ago about, and it's just sticking with me, about if you want to show Christ, just don't complain. Like in any workplace, you start putting all that together, Joby, and now you got something.
Yep.
And regardless of your work environment, right? It doesn't matter what you do. Again, this is minor league baseball. I've been around minor league baseball players. It is not normally the breeding ground for Christianity. Yeah. Right? It's not.
It's a testing ground.
It's not a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
For the most part. So I just think that's a cool part of the story, man. If somebody's listening and you think that you're in a job that you just can't do that, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, and if you want to pray a prayer that God wants to answer, is pray for an opportunity to share your faith. But then you better keep your eyes open. And it might not be that you stand up in front of a bunch of people and you preach the gospel. It could be your coworkers going through it and you just say, hey, I'm praying for you. Is there anything specific I could pray about? Who's going to argue with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think we have laws against praying yet, but you can at least do that regardless of where you are. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, even if the person is like, whatever, let me tell you, when that person goes through it, they're going to go to the praying person at work, not just the fun guy at work. They're going to go to the person that thinks, just in case that person actually has a connection with God and I need help. And that might be all that you need to do to open up the door to begin to have those kind of gospel conversations.
Don't be weird about it, though.
No, please. Well, here's what's great. If you're weird, you're going to be weird.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's also great is, and if you are weird, you don't even know we're talking about you. That's the wonderful thing about weird people.
One of my best friends, we'll go out to eat, and our waitress will come, and he'll be like, what's your name? She'll be like, so-and-so. He's like, can we pray for you when we bless our food? She's like, yeah. And that's just like, I never thought about doing that before. Like, a lot of people like find it offensive to like, I'll be praying for you. Like, why? What did I do wrong?
Right.
What I'm saying? But like, when you see like prayer's good, like I want people to pray for me each day.
No doubt.
Like,
It's so funny because I had this realization yesterday during church that it's so funny you say that about prayer. One of the things, and this is me talking, it's not Joby talking for those listening, I get irritated when people leave church and it's not over.
Yeah.
It irritates me. And I just had this thought. I'm like, we're in this process where there are, I think yesterday was 66, if I remember right.
Salvation?
Yep. There's
what service you were at? But it was 103 by 11:22.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. You're in a room with 2,000, 3,000 people. A couple hundred are struggling with raising a hand or walking down. Like, just pray for them.
Totally.
Instead of trying to get out to the parking lot 2 minutes earlier, beat me to the bathroom. Like, if you don't have anything going on, pray for them that their hand will go up or that they'll walk down there. Like, just the waitress thing, little things like that. And I'm newer in this. And so I'm just now starting to see, and I hear you say something like that. And it's just, there's always something to pray for. Always.
Yeah, one of the things we do in our team Bible study is, we started doing it, I think, at the beginning of this year, but it's intentionally praying for our teammates by name who aren't there. And to see those prayers be answered is the absolute evidence of a good God. Right there.
And we need to pray for people, not about people.
Yeah.
Sometimes people pray about people. God, I don't like that guy. Change him. That ain't what it means.
Thinking
pray
you're
for
God.
Them. Right. Yeah, because you have no idea the impact, bro. You have no idea. Like, I had no idea that while I was preaching, you were here and God grabbed a hold of your heart and did something significant. And now you have a significant impact. I mean, bro, there's some kids in the stands and you gave them a picture of what it looks like to be a Christian who's a baseball player. And it's going to impact people in a way that you have no idea, you know? And so just the ripple effects of just being obedient with what is right in front of you, which is, you know, sometimes it's catching a fly ball with a backflip, and sometimes it's standing up and leading the team Bible study. And then sometimes it's being the last one to leave the field because you're going to sign all the autographs just to show what it looks like to not think too highly of yourself.
The reach is amazing. I mean, because you think of the kids, and the first thing I think of is there's a 55-year-old who just lost his wife, is struggling with life, but he loves baseball and came across y'all on an algorithm.
Last year, I jumped to the stands between innings. I was out there in center field. I wasn't going to hit the next inning. And a lady gave me a hug, old lady. And she's bawling, crying. I was like, what's the matter? It's like, anything I can do? She's like, I just want to say thank you so much. Like, she had her kids and her, kid's husband or something there with them. She's like, we lost my husband last week, and he was supposed to come this game, and just the joy that you've brought us this week, or like you and this organization have brought us, is just thank you. Just bawling tears. I'm like, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why we do it right there.
Yeah, because, I mean, our life is algorithms right now.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not on a church algorithm, you're not getting church on social media.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cats on a baseball algorithm. There's a lot of young people on algorithms of entertainment, of dancing, of things like that you're reaching that we're not reaching.
Yeah, one of the guys on our team, his name's Rack. He grew up homeschooled and went to Bible college. The guy's just filled with knowledge, man, and he really uses his social media to glorify the Lord.
Amen.
Like, in almost every post he posts, and he's way better than me at posting, but he's really a light on social media for kids.
Well, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I mean, it's flown by.
Now we got it. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I just looked at the clock, and I'm like, oh, no.
Now we got to go to a game.
Yeah, no question. No question. I mean, we have to know somebody, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Which is very gospel. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. You walk up and go, I'm with him. You can get in places you can't.
Oh, I know you're not going to take this, because it's praise, but congrats, bro.
Thank you.
I mean, this is not just cool, but it's really inspiring. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. We're about to try to do more public Bible studies, being very specific about what we, the truth we bring from the Lord and what He wants us to put out there. Just pray for that, and we're thinking about doing something public or wherever. If we go to a city, maybe connecting with a local church there to have a worship night to let fans or whoever wants to come just praise with us, Yeah. So just pray for that with our guys, and just.
How do people find you?
Social media.
What is it?
DR Meadows is Instagram, and there's a bunch of other guys.
Yeah,
find out there too. So,
Joby, you got anything you want to end with?
I don't think so. Get ready for the most humbling thing you'll ever do, which is to be a dad.
I'm so excited.
You should be, but everything, your whole Bible's about to change. You're going to see it differently now. Like you'll read Luke 15 about the story of the prodigal son. And when you're 23, you're like, I'm the kid.
Yeah.
When you become a dad, you're like, of course I would welcome him home and throw my arms around him and throw a party for him because there's no pain like kid pain, because there's no love like kid love. And you're about to experience that. 189 times in the 4 Gospels, Jesus refers to the creator of all things as Father.
Yeah.
And so it's a very, very, very unique responsibility that God would allow us to borrow his title and that he would call us. I mean, listen, of all the dads of the entire world, he trusted you and your wife to raise this little girl. And so,
hey, looking at the fans after the game, the girls are always the sweeter ones than the boys. So
ain't nothing like being a girl dad.
I got 2 boys. I can't go there with y'all.
It's sweet. Yeah, congratulations, bro.
Thank you, man.
Well, DR, appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me on here.
No, thank you for coming awesome. In. It's been amazing. Built for More podcast at Built for More Pod. Denny Thompson, Joby Martin. Like, follow, share. We appreciate you.